What is going on, everyone? Badger here. Should have like and sub, and let's get into this. One of the greatest revelations was just how deep the rot went in not just Disney Studios, but Disney Animation, and then later on Pixar and other studios. FilmThreat was one of the first groups, really. I mean, Alan Ing and Chris Gore, that showed us not just the rot internally, but also what exactly they were trying to do and how they were doing it, specifically Jennifer Lee over at Disney Animation, and how they used #MeToo to basically fire or get rid of everyone in the know, everyone with any sort of power and knowledge of how to do things, and then bring in an entirely new group of people. God, and ironically, this is a series of stories that I was covering when I was pretty still new to YouTube, still am. And somehow, by the grace of the gods, I've now met both Alan and Chris, and I'm on Film Threat with them. So it is crazy. Every Monday, versus, check it out. So here's Alan with continuing in a long line of series. And so, yeah, let's get into this. The D Files, Untitled 2024 Disney Animation or animated feature by Alan Ing. The recent news of Jennifer Lee stepping down as the chief creative officer of Walt Disney Animation, it's hard not to reflect on her devastating impact on the OG animation studio that started with a mouse. And of course, he says if you read the original D Files, which we went over briefly, this article will serve as yet another reminder of how DEI can kill your company and dreams simultaneously. Because one of the big takeaways from the last part was how Disney, in a predatory way, got a lot of young talent that were not ready for the big leagues, but because they were literally Tumblr influencers or others, but the not even a bare minimum of requirement for entry, but because they thought they could somehow bring them in being influencers, that all they did was end up killing the dream and the spirit from a lot of these young go-getters who then had their dreams crushed when they couldn't actually perform the tasks they were hired for. So DEI hiring, with Jennifer Lee firmly in place as the head of Walt Disney Animation and her plans for a 50-50 female and male animator equity in place, her next goal was to include diverse voices to lead the next generation of feature animation. In 2019, Lee announced that the names of 4 storytellers to direct 4 new films. You can see them there from within. Lee chose Josie Trinidad, Lee from Story for Zootopia and Ralph Breaks the Internet. Mark Smith, director of story for Frozen 2. And then Lee pulled the other 2 from outside sources. The first is Carlos Lopez Estrada, who directed Raya and the Last Dragon. And then, of course, Iranian-American filmmaker Susie Yoonessi, Unlovable and Dear Lemon Lima. Many of the veteran animators saw these hirings, particularly Estrada and Yoonessi, as WDA embracing DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Disney had a long line of veteran animators investing time and energy in the hopes that one day they would helm a Disney classic. Now, these scarce opportunities were given to people who were labeled diversity hires and never worked in animation. Uncovered in past D-Files, the old white guys were not given prominent scenes to animate in favor of inexperienced women of color. This snub began the slow and total exodus of several veteran talent from Walt Disney Animation to competitor studios, including Skydance. And yeah, we heard a lot of it. They instituted a climate of fear where people were given unrealistic time frames in which to complete work, and then it was never good enough, and it was nitpicked to death, unlike the toxic positivity climate that we have now. You can see here the Untitled Disney animated featurette. Jump to a year ago with Disney's Wish coming to theaters. This was the current slate of films for this year. Oh, wow. And just a mini of the Mufasa, The Lion King, Untitled Disney Animation, The Amateur, Untitled Disney, Untitled Alien Event Movie, Untitled Deadpool Movie, and well, we got Deadpool and Wolverine at least. Inside Out 2, Young Woman and the Sea, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, and The First Omen. Notice there is an Untitled Disney feature and an Untitled Disney animation on the schedule. No feature film is coming out in 24, but pay attention to the animated feature. At the end of the first quarter, Disney Animation made a surprise announcement during a shareholder call that Moana 2 would be coming out during Thanksgiving. Disney stated it would be a repurposing of the already developed Disney Plus animated series. In fact, Disney found itself in scramble mode to re-sign the original voices, transition from television to the big screen, never an easy job, and deliver a film in around 6 months. Feels like WDA is pivoting. What really happened? And we find out what really happened is, the incompetence. So you can see right here, my sources tell me that the Untitled Disney animation was never supposed to be Moana 2, but a story spearheaded by the diverse hire Susie Yoonessi. Though Yoonessi had several successful live action films under her belt, she may have found herself in over her head in the world of animation. It appears that the film was not only paused, but flat out canceled. The film was about to enter the launch sequence when Wish came out, but was canceled at the last minute. This left Walt Disney Studios with only 2 films in theaters in 2024, Young Woman and the Sea and the beginning of the year, and Mufasa at the end. The Yoonessi project. This begs the question, how did one outside of Disney know about this project until now? How did no one, rather? Disney has an incredible PR team. That's how. After some internet investigation, here's what we know about Susie Yoonessi's film. In her book, Disney Princess Beyond the Tiara, Emily Zamiller speaks with Yoonessi about her chance to create a new Disney princess. Her animated feature was based on a fairy tale her grandmother told her as a child. Was it about Cleopatra being black? And a chance to bring Persian culture. So it was going to be a Persian princess. Okay. You can see here from Zimler's article, Jasmine gave me a moment of such pride in my heritage and my culture, and especially being from upstate New York in the suburbs of Buffalo, where there was little diversity, showed me there was a whole world out there, a whole new world, where they were filled with all these shades of brown. That for me was a defining moment in terms of the princesses or prince-eye and their power. The Disney princesses were my superheroes. In a statement about her influences, Yoonessi says her grandmother's fairy tale has mythical lakes, talking cockroaches, and deserts that stretch beyond the imagination. Since helming her project, Yoonessi has been leading and participating in industry panels and presentations under the moniker of director at the Walt Disney Animation Studios. She's been working on this project for 5 years and nothing's coming out of it. It's dead, Jim. Thanks to Disney's crack PR and legal teams, not much is known about the project's current status. Anything at this point is pure conjecture, but Disney and Pixar have a history of pivoting and changing course midstream and late in the game. Aladdin, The Emperor's New Groove, and The Good Dinosaur are examples of that. This one feels different. Disney could have easily blamed the 2023 strikes for delaying the project or made a major announcement for the Persian Disney feature at this year's D23 fan event. And yeah, rumors say that the film was well beyond the development stages. It seems like maybe they're learning. Rumor has it that there may have been conflicts between the director and corporate. These rumors swirl around clashes trying to Disneyfy authentic Persian culture. Of course. In other words, she doesn't understand animation. Again, this is all speculation on Alan's part. Hit Alan up if you have any actual facts to share. But he ends on this: go woke, go broke. Jennifer Lee stepping down should be a warning to all DEI's destructive nature. Important note: the idea of diversity is not wrong. There are talented people of color who are storytellers, character designers, and animators who have proved themselves in the fields and should be given the opportunity of a lifetime. They have been working at the Walt Disney Company all of this time, like Lee herself. Just because you may be a terrific writer doesn't mean you have the executive qualifications to run an entire animation studio. Ignoring your veteran talent doesn't help either. These veteran animators have told me from the very beginning, writing and directing for animation is vastly different than writing and directing for live action. When you fire or force out veterans because of their race and gender and replace them with filmmakers and Tumblr artists, which we talked about, because of their race and gender, you are going to lose and lose bigly. They lost because they're losers and they lost bigly. They're going to keep losing because go woke, go broke. And yeah, there you go. Alan Ing, friend of the channel. Chris Gore, shout out. What do you think about all this? Jennifer Lee stepping down. Didn't reign very long. Let me know what you think of all this. Be sure to like, share, and sub. If you have done that, thank you. If you're gonna do that, thank you. Check us out on FilmThreat on Monday for Versus, and
Well,